Welcome back to my channel. Today I have a beautiful, bold, and for the daring at heart green eyeshadow. It's actually a combination of different shades of green, a little bit of yellow just to add some contrast and some dimension, but this is what I came up with. I couldn't decide what to do, and I recently did a green eyeshadow on a client, and I figured why not do like a recreation with a little twist. This is a lot more difficult. It is a cut crease, and I smoked it out, and then I added like a bunch of shades, but it's achievable. Practice does make perfect. Anyway, if you like, I would like to see how I achieved it. Keep on watching. I've decided to do my brows on camera so you can see what I do before I do my eyeshadow. I typically do this, if not every time, whenever my brows grow out. I'm first reshaping it with my razor. Now you can use your regular eyebrow razor. For me, I'm used to using this type, so I do, but it's quite dangerous if you're not experienced. I first mold my brows with my NYX eyebrow glue, and I'm just applying this like very generously to both brows. Then I'm taking the back of my brush to press the hairs down in direction. After, I'm using my Anastasia Beverly Hills brow pomade in the shape Ebony, and I'm creating hair-like strokes starting from the bottom going towards the top, and I start at the middle, then working my way towards the front. You can see this better obviously by watching. Once that is done, I use my concealer to clean it up. It's not necessary in this case, but for those of you who would like a crisp brow, I highly recommend using a concealer like the Your shade or maybe a little bit lighter. It really helps to define the brow a bit more. Now I've done one eye off camera just to save time because it did take a while to do. I'm applying my eyeshadow base, and I'm trying this new eyeshadow base to see how I like it. And I'm making sure to blend it into my concealer so there are no harsh lines. Then I'm using this deep green color from the Jaclyn Hill palette, and I'm going in with a lighter green from the James Charles palette from Morphe, and I'm using these colors to basically define the crease and then diffusing them out. And I'm going really slow in person, making sure to blend as I go. Once those two shades are finished blending, I go back into the James Charles palette, and I'm going in with this lighter green, almost like a lime green, and I'm just diffusing out the two previous colors that I placed before. Once this is done, I go back with my eyeshadow primer, and I'm creating my cut crease, and I want this to be a winged shape, so this is why I'm doing it in the shape that I am. And it does take some practice to get the shape identical. Sometimes it's really hard and it takes a few tries, but once you get it, you get it. Then I use my Juvia's Place palette, and I'm using a kind of beige color just to set the concealer. And I'm going back into my Jaclyn Hill palette with that dark green to further define the crease area, because I'd like to create more contrast between the light and the dark colors. Once that's done, I'm using my James Charles palette, basically the same greens that I used previously. I'm using them again, but this time I'm creating a kind of reverse ombre. So I'm going with the darker, then the middle, then the lighter green, and I'm packing them in that order as you see me do in the video. And I'm making sure to blend each of the colors into each other so there's like a seamless ombre effect. Once this is done, I'm going straight into my face, and I applied my primer. And then today I'm applying my foundation with my sponge, which I don't usually do. I prefer a brush, but sometimes I like to mix it up just to see. Maybe I might, maybe not like it, but the sponge was okay. After, I'm applying my concealer as usual. I'm using the Toast by LA Girl, and I'm highlighting under my eyes, down the bridge of my nose, my forehead, my chin, and on the corners of my mouth. Once this is done, I blend with my brush, and I make sure it's blended thoroughly into the foundation, making sure there are no harsh lines. And to further assist me, I'm using my sponge to basically go over those areas. Now I also use a lighter concealer. You can skip this step if you prefer a more natural highlight. I am doing a bit lighter because I want it to pop. And I'm putting these basically back into the same places that I did the previous one, blending again with my brush into the first one. And here you see me using this sponge like I mentioned before, and I just go in tapping motions just to not drag the concealer. I'm then setting all of that with my Makeup Forever HD powder. Now this powder does give flashback, but if used correctly you can avoid that completely. I'm applying my Sasha Buttercup on top of it and in the usual areas where I did highlight. I'm also reverse contouring with the same Sasha powder, and I'm making sure to not just leave a line but rather pull the lighter color down so it really goes into my jawline. Then use my contour palette from Kaleidos to really define the cheekbone and define my contour. And I'm blending as I go so that the lines from the reverse contour aren't there. I'm using that same palette to also contour my nose, and I'm trying not to give like too much of a harsh nose contour. I think if you have really bright makeup and really full coverage, you don't have to go as harsh with the highlight or as harsh with the contour, otherwise it ends up looking super fake, unless that's the look you're going for. And after I apply my blush, and then I follow with highlight. You can apply whichever blush and whichever highlight is your favorite. I'm now dusting away all of the loose powder that I baked to it, and I'm blending as I'm dusting it away. So this is where I take the opportunity to soften my nose contour, and after I'm going back to the eyes, and this time I'm doing the under eye because I would like for the eyeshadow to basically be smoked out at the bottom as well. And I'm using the same colors that I did on top, and I'm opening the inner corner with the bright lime green yellow color that you saw me use. I always apply bottom mascara because I think it really helps to balance the top lashes. And once I'm done, I apply my lips. I'm going for a matte nude, and that's it for the look. After I'm just setting my face with my Charlotte Tilbury setting spray, and once that's done, you are ready for the road or wherever you're going. You know, I think this look is quite fun. It does take a bit of practice to get the cut, crease, and the blending down, and you can use any color that you like. Imagine a beautiful pink, purple, a burgundy, any color scheme I think would look beautiful, just as long you master the blending and the cutting of the crease. Until next time, thank you, bye.